On the Young and the Restless, tomorrow, Wednesday, August 27th, 2025, Kane's decision makes waves in Genoa City. Nate makes a confession to Devin, and Audra turns to Sally. We've got the photo spoilers of what's coming up. Yesterday, on The Young and the Restless, Kane decided to cancel his plans to take over Genoa City. Phyllis was shocked when he called and told her, and she knows why and how he's come to that conclusion. But she's not the only one who will be affected by his announcement. Phyllis knows about the letter that Victor gave to Kane, and that he blackmailed him with it. That wasn't part of the pitch that Nick gave to Phyllis when he wanted her to be on the Newman's side. Can Nick smooth things over? On Wednesday, he's going to need to do some damage control with Phyllis. Meanwhile, Lily is reminded of her past with Kane, but there's a lot of history and mixed feelings there. Did his video message make her remember the good times or the bad? Maya was the first regular transgender character in American daytime television, and a member of the Avant family, the first and only Central African American family in B&B's history. This year, Mosley made history again by joining the cast of Beyond the Gates, the first new soap to premiere on network television in over 25 years, and the first hour-long daytime sudsur with a predominantly black cast in network history. Mosley recently showed off her singing talents at the Daytime at Night event at the Troubadour, where she sang some solos and a duet with Melissa Claire Egan. The pair went to school together and revealed that they had done other productions like Annie and Grease musicals while growing up. On February 24th, 2025, we got our first look at the new soap, Beyond the Gates, and were introduced to Carla Mosley's Danny Duprees in fine form. The character's immense wealth was quickly obvious, as was her throwing arm as she launched a mug across her kitchen in a fit of rage. Since then, Mosley's performances, week in and week out, make it easy for the viewers to believe that she is a woman who's comfortable with money and acts as if everyone's life is happening in her world. Delivering key performances that have kept us returning day after day, Mosley has captivated us with her signature smile that lights up the room and her sassy wit that can cut down even the boldest of characters. There is more to the role of Danny than just dealing out snarky lines with precision or letting her temper get her into hot water. There is a vulnerable side to that Mosley is able to shine through in scenes with Danny's dad Vernon, her mom Anita, her sister Nicole, and of course, her part-time lover, Andre Richardson. Mosley's ability to tap into what the audience wants to see enables her to command the room and leave us wanting more. On Beyond the Gates, Danny is in crisis mode with her entire family, including her ex-husband Bill, as they are desperately seeking answers and their daughter's safe return. The kidnapping of Danny's youngest daughter, Chelsea, has hit everyone hard. Bill and Danny have made a plea on camera for Chelsea's safe return, filmed by Andre Ruffles, who finds it hard seeing Danny and Bill holding hands as they talk to the camera. But Andre's feelings pale in comparison to Danny's nemesis, Haley. Although under the guise of wanting to support her husband as he deals with his missing girl, Haley's insecurities are at play, and the look on her face as she sees Danny and Bill looking so comfortable together is one for the books. Don't miss an episode as the kidnapping scenario intensifies, as does Bill and Danny's relationship. Hey babes, welcome back to Gossip Delight. It's your girl Daisy, and trust me, today's tea is scorching, steamy, and absolutely unmissable. Buckle up, because we're diving straight into the drama. On Beyond the Gates, Chelsea is doing all she can to annoy her captor and possibly set herself up for a nasty few days. Will Chelsea get rescued before she gets hurt really badly? Chelsea's ex-girlfriend, Allison, has been stalking her since day one. It turns out there was no chance meeting, and everything that happened between them was by design. Allison was not married to Craig, nor were they a couple. Craig works for the same escort agency that Vanessa uses, the same one that Joey Armstrong owns. Allison would just book Craig to play a role, assuming that Chelsea might be more comfortable at first if there was a guy involved. From the beginning, Allison was obsessed with Chelsea and began studying her posts, and her entire online presence. This was intended to break the ice and make the first meeting feel more organic. And it was effective. Chelsea had no idea that it was all a setup from a crazed fan. Allison has become further detached from reality. She would create stories in her head and scenarios, believing them to be true, and has now taken the ultimate next step by kidnapping Chelsea. Chesley was getting ready to attend the launch of her purse line, which she had created with her cousin, called Chelsea Cat. Just as the last things were being organized, Allison used a chloroform rag to render Chelsea unconscious and took her to someplace safe, off the grid, and unknown to anyone. Upon waking, though, Chelsea has been aggressive and rude. A few times she showed a violent outburst, throwing the contents of a wineglass into Allison's face, kicking over the table that had a meal all set up to be eaten. Then, as Allison was cleaning it up, Chelsea decided that the best thing to do was to use her foot and push Allison over into the mess. Knowing that Allison is unpredictable and capable of almost anything, it would be far better for Chelsea to be submissive and comply with her captor's demands. Calling her crazy was probably not the best thing either. As Allison said straight away, "Crazy, you haven't seen crazy yet, but keep acting like that and you will." If Chelsea wants to be rescued and be unhurt in the process, she had better realize that pushing Allison's buttons like that won't be the answer. Stay tuned, soap fans. Jacob and Kat are on the case, and the FBI assistant director is a family friend of the Duprees. I know it's a soap, but when he told Anita and Vernon that she had gone dark on social media, but her cell phone was active but silent, I was questioning why he hadn't offered to locate the device. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Thursday, August 28th, reveal that Jacob and Kat follow a promising lead, and an unlikely duo exchange wedding vows. Jacob and Kat are closer than ever to cracking the case, and this new lead might finally give them the edge they need. But this is a soap opera, and just about anything can happen. With desperation mounting, they're among the many hoping and praying they can find Chelsea, and find her before it's too late. Meanwhile, in a rare moment of vulnerability, Derek lets his guard down with Ashley. He opens up to her, and it's clear she still wants to make things work between them. After all, things didn't exactly work out with Andre, but that's a story for another day. As for her and Derek, what does the future hold? Time will tell. Beyond the Gates spoilers for August 28th also tease a surprise wedding, an unlikely duo exchange vows. But who's saying, "I do," and what are they really getting into? It's the kind of twist that has everyone wondering, which unexpected couple is tying the knot? And finally, Vanessa has news to share with the Duprees. She calls the family together for what she's calling a must-hear conversation. Could it be about Leslie? Heaven knows the Duprees have enough on their plate with Chelsea still missing. So what lead do you think Jacob and Kat find? Beyond the Gates spoilers for Wednesday, August 27th, imply Martin Richardson will make a deal with the devil, while Leslie Thomas ruffles feathers, at the worst time possible. During the Tuesday, August 26th episode, fans learn just how cray-cray Allison is. Not only did she taunt Chelsea Hamilton and try to force her into getting intimate, but Jacob Hawthorne and Catherine Kat Richardson also found out she was lying about being married to Craig. It turns out that Craig is a male escort Allison hired to trap Chelsea into a throuple situation. He pretended to be her husband upon Allison's request. Craig works for Joey Armstrong, and to further thicken the plot on the August 26th show, Martin and Bradley "Smitty" Smith hopped on the bandwagon of non-police citizens in Fairmont Crest, looking to crack this investigation wide open. Makes sense, as Smitty is an investigative journalist, so he has credentials to help, right? All kidding aside, will this deal with the devil Martin makes on Wednesday's show have to do with Chelsea's rescue? Will Martin approach Joey about this? Meanwhile, BTG spoilers suggest Chelsea's girlfriend, Dr. Madison Montgomery, will issue an apology to someone. Will Madison harbor guilt around Chelsea's kidnapping? She saw the signs that Allison was unhinged and warned her gal pal, but she may feel as if she should have done more. Madison is not to blame, but that doesn't mean she won't feel bad. In other news, Naomi Hawthorne will be thankful for Jacob. Not only is her hubby working overtime to find her sister, but she'll also lean on him for support during this hard time. Finally, Leslie will push some buttons during the August 27th show, and she really needs to read the room at this point before she does so. However, when has Leslie ever shown any class or tact? She may stroll over to the Dupree mansion, hoping to rub her newfound wealth in their faces again. But as they are more preoccupied with finding Chelsea, it looks like they'll brush her aside. Beyond the Gates spoilers reveal that there's a time and place for everything, but Leslie wanting to gloat about anything during Wednesday's show is neither the time nor the place. Here's what went down Tuesday, August 26, 2025, on Beyond the Gates. When Vanessa ended things with Joey, Haley's girls' night turned into another rejection by the Duprees, and Craig revealed his true connection to Allison. On Beyond the Gates, Haley and Caroline finished watching a movie featuring Beyoncé and Idris Elba, with Haley claiming she knew all the steps from one of Queen Bey's tour videos. The women dished about Idris and laughingly threw popcorn at each other, though Caroline was humbled when Haley admitted that she couldn't be having so much fun if she was still pregnant. Caroline expressed regret for Haley having experienced a miscarriage. Haley was grateful to have Caroline as a friend, especially as she was still being blacklisted by the Duprees. After Haley stated that she was over that family and their holier-than-thou-ness, Caroline asked if that meant Haley had no more problems with Bill spending time with Danny, like they were doing that night at Chelsea's launch. Haley acknowledged that she couldn't freak out every time her husband and his ex functioned as co-parents. She didn't want to keep Bill from his kids. Vanessa read an article from the Washington Sleuth on her phone about Chelsea being a no-show at her own launch, then relayed her worry to the arriving Joey. Armstrong described a problem gambler he had taken care of at the casino and asked why Vanessa had summoned him. After hesitating, Vanessa suggested that she and Joey pull back from whatever this is. The realtor felt that she couldn't stand by while Joey destroyed Doug's life. Joey knew that his being dangerous was the reason that Vanessa couldn't stay away from him. Joey charged Vanessa with only pretending to be ready for their heat, despite her big talk. Vanessa swore that their relationship had been real, but Joey retorted that Vanessa wanted the thrill without the consequence. The casino owner told Vanessa she could walk, but couldn't promise that he would still be interested when she inevitably came back to him, though he did assert that Doug's poor life choices weren't his issue. When Joey remarked that Vanessa knew about his operation and that he didn't like loose ends, Vanessa thought he was threatening her. Joey maintained that he wasn't, and that Vanessa would be back. Tyrell and Smitty fretted over Chelsea not showing up at her launch, with the teen noting that questioning comments were blowing up on her Instagram feed. Smitty couldn't get anything else out of the family group chat except that Chelsea was officially a missing person. Samantha came home from the canceled Chelsea Cat launch, along with Martin, who was on the phone trying to learn more from Nicole. The psychiatrist told her son how much Danny and Naomi were suffering. Martin wanted to help and cited his high-tech contacts, through which Chelsea's digital footprint could be traced. After he hung up with his mom, Martin told Smitty, Samantha and Tyrell that all signs led to Chelsea having been kidnapped. As Smitty was an investigative reporter, Samantha wanted him to put his skills to use finding Chelsea. Martin grabbed his keys to head for his grandparents' house, and Smitty agreed with the kids that he should accompany his husband. Martin consented, grateful for the extra assistance. Anita and Vernon were on their way out to meet Buck Buchanan, Vernon's FBI contact. Danny's parents promised her that Chelsea would be back. Bill saw Danny looking at baby pictures of Chelsea on her phone and stopped her when she pondered why she had been so hard on their daughter. Yet the attorney acknowledged that he hadn't been very present for Chelsea himself. Danny listened as Bill denied Chelsea's persistent claim that he preferred Naomi over her. When Bill put his arm around Danny to comfort her, Andre walked in and saw the gesture. Caroline convinced Haley to call Bill, who told her about Chelsea's probable kidnapping. Haley wanted to be with her husband while his daughter was missing, but Bill advised her not to come to the Dupree mansion, as it would complicate matters. Bill hung up on Haley abruptly, then told Danny he was sure Chelsea could outsmart a crazed fan. After mentioning that Allison was more than that, Danny put it together that Bill didn't know Allison had broken Chelsea's heart. Bill reeled at the news. Haley was upset that, as Bill's wife and Chelsea's stepmother, she couldn't be with Bill during the crisis. Caroline cautioned Haley as she readied to leave, but Haley declared, "The Duprees don't decide when I get to show up for my husband. Not now. Not ever." The Duprees met with Buck at Uptown after briefly glimpsing Vanessa there with Joey, Anita, cut into Vernon and Buck's reminiscing, and Buck was brought up to speed on Chelsea having vanished. "We're Duprees. We don't do failure," Anita crowed to Buck when he suggested that Chelsea might have skipped her event over fear of not succeeding. Buck saw that Chelsea had registered no bank activity and that her socials had gone dark. Vernon asserted that Chelsea not posting regularly would be like the sun not rising at daybreak. Buck wanted to know more about Allison and held that the FBI would need more information before it could take definitive action. Yet Buck assured the Duprees that they would be ready to move as soon as Hay came across something solid. Naomi worked on a case, telling Nicole that she couldn't let her single mother client lose her house over becoming consumed by Chelsea's disappearance. Nicole realized that Naomi was trying to counteract her feelings of helplessness over her sister's kidnapping by controlling something else. Naomi saw her aunt's point and confessed that, unlike in court, she couldn't think of anything to do to help the situation. She cried in Nicole's arms that she couldn't fix things for her baby sister. As Jacob, Kat, and Madison discussed the apparent fact that Allison had gone out of her way to cover her tracks, Madison remembered Allison's husband Craig, and Kat found a contact for Craig on Chelsea's phone. There was no number, but Kat was able to DM Craig on social media, hoping he could lead them to Chelsea. Naomi joined the digital search. They all found photos of Craig with other women, but none with Allison, deducing that Allison and Craig's throuple situation had involved many others besides Chelsea. Jacob ran Craig's name through his channels. Bill discovered that outsider Madison hadn't gone home. Madison reported that she was helping to scour social media accounts. When Craig contacted Kat, she and Jacob ran out to meet him, leaving Bill alone with Madison. The lawyer weighed which was worse, Chelsea's disappearance or knowing so little about her life. Later, Bill and Danny made their plea for Chelsea's release, which Vanessa and various family members caught thanks to Andre's live stream. Haley entered and saw Bill holding Danny's hand as they lobbied for the safe return of their daughter. Nicole and Naomi blocked Haley in the foyer, chastising her for what they viewed as Haley making Chelsea's emergency about her. Naomi fumed that Haley hadn't been there for Chelsea in the lead-up to the launch or as she navigated her sexual identity. Bill and Danny heard the argument as they wrapped up the live stream, with Bill stressing that Haley had been asked not to come. Privately, Haley resented Bill for ordering her to stay away as if she were one of his employees. She felt that supporting her husband during his time of need was more important than what the Duprees thought about it. Bill saw Haley's point, but he wanted Haley to see his former in-laws' perspective as well, since much of what they'd been through in recent months had been because of them. Haley didn't like that Bill had been holding Danny's hand like it was the most natural thing in the world, or that he had acted as if Danny was still his wife. Bill contended that Chelsea's being missing wasn't about them, but Haley stood firm that there was supposed to be a them and said that Bill turned into a different person when the Duprees snapped their fingers. Mr. Hamilton said he wasn't trying to push Mrs. Hamilton away. He was trying to protect her, and she made things difficult at times. Haley was hurt, but reminded Bill that someone needed to be on his side when he was busy being on everyone else's. "I'm just so scared for her, Haley," Bill finally admitted, letting down his wall. Haley hugged him and comforted him. When Craig arrived at Orphe Jean's, Kat name-dropped her family to him, but he was unimpressed. Jacob and Kat were astonished when Craig revealed that he wasn't Allison's husband, or even her boyfriend. Kat didn't believe it, but Jacob's people at the department proved that no marriage certificate for Craig existed. Craig got weirded out and wanted to leave until Jacob whipped out his badge. Kat demanded information about Allison. Craig confessed that Allison had hired him to pose as her husband so she could manipulate Chelsea into a throuple with them. Craig divulged that Allison had taken him and Chelsea to different hotels for every encounter, and that Allison had been obsessed with Chelsea. He avowed that, had he sensed Allison was capable of kidnapping Chelsea, he would have stopped her. Jacob was stunned to hear that Allison had acquired Craig through Heart Attach Escort Service, Joey's company. "You call being a man whore legitimate?" Kat jeered when Craig was reluctant to involve himself further. "I'm not just worried about losing my job, if you get what I'm saying," Craig told Jacob, fearing Joey's reaction if he revealed private client details. When Kat and Jacob guaranteed that Craig's name would be kept out of everything, Craig showed Jacob the database through which Allison had booked him, and Jacob and Kat worked to corroborate its dates and times with Chelsea's activities. Once Craig left, Kat was certain they had enough leads, but Jacob worried that Joey's ties to the department could slow down any attempt to get a warrant. "How corrupt are you people?" Kat asked accusingly before Jacob made some calls to push the warrant through. With Jacob's back turned, Kat decided, "My bestie doesn't have time for warrants," and took off to find Chelsea on her own. At the cabin, Chelsea remained chained while Allison decried Chelsea ruining Allison's specially curated dinner by throwing it over the table. Chelsea yelled that Allison, knowing her favorite things from her social media, didn't make them a love story. "This isn't love, it's psychotic," Chelsea shrieked, condemning Allison for having her chained up like we're in a low-budget horror movie. Allison labeled Chelsea dramatic and said she was missing the bigger picture. Their time together was a chance to reconnect. But Chelsea kicked Allison, who was kneeling to clean up the broken dishes, over onto the floor. Allison couldn't believe Chelsea was being so obstinate and wanted her gratitude. She then produced our special bracelet, which Allison contended Chelsea had worn in her photo shoots to let Allison know she was thinking of her. Chelsea didn't know what Allison was talking about and refused to eat the apple her abductor offered, which was the only edible left after Chelsea had wrecked the meal. Allison announced that, since Chelsea was being so stubborn, there was only one thing left to do: make love. Chelsea screamed for help while Allison changed into a silk negligee, which Allison had bought after Chelsea had extolled the virtues of silk on her socials. Allison had gotten Chelsea a matching nightie, but Chelsea didn't want Allison touching her. She recoiled as Allison persisted that they were meant to be. Allison reflected on all the hotels where they'd made love with Craig, and separately. But when Allison moved in to kiss Chelsea, the kidnap victim bit Allison's lip, drawing blood. "Did Madison teach you that?" Allison growled, deciding that if Chelsea wanted to play rough, she could play rough as well. With that, Allison grabbed Chelsea by the hair as Chelsea shouted for her to stop. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Wednesday, August 27th, reveal that Martin makes a deal with the devil, Madison apologizes, and more. The whole Dupree clan, and everyone who loves Chelsea, is on edge. With Chelsea still missing, it's turning into a race against time to find her. Right now, they're convinced that the obsessive Allison may have something to do with her disappearance, and they're pulling out all the stops to bring Chelsea home. Some are putting their differences aside, others are calling in backup, and Martin is making a deal with the devil. But who's the devil in this situation? Meanwhile, Naomi is struggling emotionally. She's deeply worried about her sister, and during this crisis, she leans on her husband for support. Jacob is doing everything he can alongside the police to track Chelsea down and bring her back safely. Beyond the Gates spoilers for August 27th also reveal that Madison issues an apology. But who is she apologizing to, and why? With Chelsea missing, tensions are high, and Madison is no exception. Considering their growing relationship, it's clear she's shaken. Could she feel somehow responsible for what's happened? And then there's Leslie, up to her usual tricks. She's ruffling feathers again as she sets her sights on staking her claim in Fairmont Crest. It's not sitting well with many, especially given the number of enemies she's made along the way. Backed by her inheritance and a new sense of power, Leslie is making some serious moves, from buying a mansion right across from the Duprees to forcing her way into their elite country club, and she's just getting started. Also on Thursday's BTG, Vanessa shares news with the Duprees. Derek opens up to Ashley. An unexpected couple exchanges vows. The Beyond the Gates spoilers for August 28, 2025, will focus on Jacob and Kat, who come across a promising lead. Kat and Jacob teamed up to find Chelsea's whereabouts. On Thursday's episode, they will get closer to solving this case. This new lead will give them the information that they need. But of course, anything can switch. As this is a soap opera, the duo might find themselves in another obstacle. Hopefully, they will work together to rescue Chelsea's life before it's too late. Derek will open up to Ashley, Supposedly, this moment will bring them closer together. Ashley might have been interested in Andre, but she still wanted their relationship to work. Meanwhile, Vanessa shared news with the Duprees. She will gather the family together for some must-hear information. Does she have information about Chelsea's whereabouts? Or does she find out something about her client, Leslie, who isn't completely out of the woods yet? Leslie's inheritance could cause issues between her and Eva. Eva has a complicated relationship with her mother, Leslie, on Beyond the Gates, but the two have grown closer now that Leslie's come into money. However, Leslie's windfall could shatter her and Eva's relationship for good. Leslie was shocked when she learned that former Articulates member Barbara is her mother. She was in for another surprise upon discovering that, as Barbara's heir, she's entitled to her inheritance. Leslie's new wealth has her and Eva celebrating. However, it's not a happy occasion for the Duprees. When Anita set up a trust for Barbara's family, she didn't expect Leslie to be her daughter. Leslie and Eva have caused issues for the Duprees, and now score another win in their feud. Or have they? A fan theory on Reddit suggests that Leslie and Eva's relationship will be tested by the inheritance. Since the trust was set up for Barbara's descendants, Eva might be entitled to half since she's Barbara's granddaughter. Eva will be tempted to stake her claim. However, Leslie will be unhappy about sharing her newfound wealth. Fans then suggested that the fight over Barbara's money could lead to the revelation that Eva isn't Leslie's daughter. There's been much speculation that Leslie stole Eva, and the young woman is Ted and Nicole's daughter. The inheritance storyline could finally shed some clues about Eva's real parentage. Eva has always forgiven her mama for her wrongdoings, but learning that Leslie kidnapped her and lied to her might have Eva reach her breaking point. Leslie's new fortune might bring her a luxurious lifestyle, but it will be her downfall when and if her crimes are exposed. Beyond the Gates spoilers for the week of August 25th to 29 hint that the Dupree family will be living on shaky ground as Chelsea Hamilton is held for ransom by a kidnapper, while two unlikely people head to the altar to say, "I do." BTG viewers saw the purse designer and social media influencer get chloroformed and dragged away during the Friday, August 22nd show as she was prepping to go to the launch party of her new company, Chelsea Cat. While people were trying to call and text, Chelsea wasn't answering. In fact, as the Friday show wrapped up, fans were shocked to see Chelsea in a bed, chained up in an unknown location. As the Monday, August 25th episode rolls around, the Dupree family will find out that Chelsea is being held hostage somewhere, and it appears that the kidnapper will have some intense demands as the week progresses. The Duprees are very wealthy, so it's not hard to see that Chelsea might be held for ransom money, and the family will move mountains to make sure she gets home safely. There will be a lot of emotional moments, and it looks as if this situation may also bring Danny Dupree and Bill Hamilton closer as well. In fact, Andre Richardson will witness a moment between the two exes, so this could complicate the pending reconciliation between Andre and Danny too. In related news, Martin Richardson, who happens to be Chelsea's cousin, will make a deal with the devil. So will he find out who has her and try to bring her home on his own? In addition, Catherine Cat Richardson and Jacob Hawthorne will partner up to investigate things, so they may play a key role in bringing Chelsea home. Across town, Vanessa McBride will share news with the Dupree family as the days go by. It's unclear if this is about Chelsea's kidnapping or possibly Leslie Thomas. On the one hand, Joey Armstrong might be helping the family locate Chelsea, and Vanessa is close with Joey, so she could offer some key intel. Still, on the other hand, she's also helping Leslie buy a mansion behind the gates of Fairmont Crest, so she may update them on that drama. Elsewhere, Eva Thomas will get help from Tomas Navarro. Is this about her mother's inheritance or something else? Regardless, these two will continue to get closer. But considering the ick factor Kat has for Tomas, since their activities in the bedroom, will she even care? Finally, Beyond the Gate spoilers for next week tease that two unlikely characters will get married. The opportunities around this are endless. Vanessa could get a quickie divorce from Doug McBride and marry Joey. Then again, could Leslie blackmail Ted Richardson and get hitched? Leslie will certainly ruffle some feathers over the next 5 days, so anything is possible. There's always a chance that Derek Baldwin and Ashley Morgan head down the aisle, since the firefighter will open up to the nurse about something. Even though they are broken up, Derek has wanted to marry Ashley for a long while, and with his accident that has left him no feeling in his legs, Ashley may feel guilty enough to agree to the nuptials. Beyond the Gates spoilers for the week of August 25th to 29 promise plenty of explosive moments, bombshells, and drama, so fans will need to tune in to see all the chaos unfold. Beyond the Gates spoilers say that viewers probably haven't seen the last of Samantha and Tyrell Richardson's birth mom, June. Naomi unleashed a can of worms when she reunited the homeless woman with her kids. In fact, she could return to the soap down the road and create more chaos for Smitty and Martin's kids. Here's what's coming up next on the CBS soap. New BTG spoilers down below. When Beyond the Gates first introduced June on the daytime TV show, we knew she was related to somebody in Fairmont Crest. For a while, rumors even hinted she might be the missing Articulette. But that mystery has been solved. Thanks to Naomi and Jacob, we learned that June was actually Regina's sister and the birth mom of Samantha and Tyrell Richardson. This week on Beyond the Gates, June had an emotional talk with the kids she gave up for adoption, and everyone seems to have a little closure. She decided to check into rehab and work on herself until the kids are ready to see her again and need her in their life. Despite saying their goodbyes, Beyond the Gates spoilers say we haven't seen the last of June. At the end of the day, Tyrell and Samantha's birth mom has some serious issues and is battling her own demons. There's a chance that June hits a rough patch and turns back to the streets. Or even worse, she may become unhinged and refuse to stay away from Smitty and Martin's kids. Tyrell and Samantha have lived comfortably since they were adopted, and their fathers have sheltered them from the outside world. It won't be difficult for June to talk her way into their lives or even con them into giving her money.